Welcome to the Grit and Grace podcast, where real conversations meet real growth. This is the place where we lean into life's challenges with grit and rise above them with grace. Whether you're here for encouragement, practical tools, or a reminder that you're not walking this journey alone, you're in the right place. So let's dive in. What's up, Christy?
What's up?
So we are in a new season.
We are in a new season.
New season.
It's a great season.
This was your first full-time week at the Grace Wellness.
It was.
Yes.
I did. It was great. Every day here at 8, well, except for Monday. My schedule was weird on Monday, but
Yeah, you were a little bit late.
I was a little bit late.
Even though I feel like maybe like 4 out of 5 days I did not even lay eyes on you till lunch.
I know.
But I just loved knowing you were here.
I know.
It just warmed my heart.
It is there. We are serving.
We were both busy when we're here.
We're so
busy. Yeah, but I knew you were here.
Yeah.
So it was good.
I have some friends that come to see you as patients, and they'll text me sometimes when they get here, and I'll text them like 3 hours later, like,
Yeah.
oh, sorry guys, I walked 20 feet to get somebody. I walked 20 feet back in my office, and I sit.
Yep.
So,
But I love it, and it just shows like that how much the Lord can do in a short amount of time.
oh,
So
it is unreal.
yeah.
Unreal. I mean, we should, that should be a podcast. We're
That
we're
needs
just going
to
to
be
talk
next
about it now.
month.
We needed, with that timeline that you created in February,
Yes.
of how much our life has changed.
Yeah.
It is unreal to see God at work.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
good
That's
idea.
right. Great idea. It's usually me with the
I know.
idea.
I know.
Well, so we always update you on something. So I thought that we would talk about Boston prep.
Mm-hmm.
So today is what, March 28th, and Boston is April 20th. And this week, I don't know, Christy's going with me. Our whole families are going.
Whole families.
Yeah,
Yep.
Christy's family, Lance and Lawson are going, and then my girls and Ramsey. And I'm so glad Christy's going, but I think together, like, we might be more anxious. I don't know. So we've been listening to all these podcasts,
All of them. It's a
prep.
lot.
And then one morning, like, we text each other early in the morning. I was like, I need to talk to you about something. I think we should leave a day earlier.
And we did.
And so, like, I'm like, let's change all the plans because we need to be dialed in.
Yes. Well, it's a lot for. There's a lot, and we are geographically challenged.
Yes.
We have Ramsey is going to help us that morning, but I'm just concerned because it's such a late start.
Yeah, it's a late start. I don't, my wave doesn't start till 10:28 in the morning. And then I don't know if we really shared on the podcast, but Christy's running the Boston 5K. She got picked for the lottery because her bestie put her in the lottery.
Yep.
And so you're running the 5K on Saturday.
5K on Saturday.
Yeah. So we're getting there. So we changed our plans. We're getting there on Thursday. So we're getting there on Thursday. The Boston Marathon's on Monday. We'll come home on Tuesday.
Yep.
But we're super excited. Ran 18 miles this morning. Have one more long run, a 20-miler next week.
I know.
And so, I mean, it's here.
It's
and,
here.
You know, I've thought about this week because if you watch the podcast, if you go back to Beantown when we qualified,
Yep.
that seems like it was like just yesterday, but yet it seems so long ago. And then all of a sudden we're at Boston.
Is that September?
It was in September.
September.
Yeah. But you know, it just seemed so far
I know.
away, and then boom,
You're
we're
here.
here. So it's crazy, but it'll be exciting.
How do you feel?
My body feels good. You might see me shifting in this chair a little bit because the 18, this morning. But I don't have anything hurting right now because we're doing every regenerative therapy that we have every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have been very diligent at that.
Yes.
And that's hard for you to fit into your life.
It's hard to fit into our life. Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, some people might make fun of us, but just the little things we do, like in our routines every day, both of us, like we Normatec at night while we're drinking our tart cherry, like we're like so compulsive. About recovery.
We are.
Yeah. But it's just because we have goals. And then after Boston, we're going to run another race in like 10 weeks after that.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of regenerative,
Yeah.
some listeners may be curious of what you are doing.
yeah.
What are you
So
doing?
every day we have a medical red light bed. So I'm doing medical red light. There's a sports recovery programming. And so I'm doing that. Like, I will walk in,
Yep.
shut that door, strip down, do it. It's like everything's fast.
Yeah.
You know,
It's 15 minutes.
It's 15 minutes. And then PEMF, which is pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And that's really cool. And you can kind of target an injured area. So I'm doing that.
Yep.
And then we have focus shock wave if something's hurting.
Yep.
And then we have laser. And then we Normatec at night.
Yep.
So, and then we're doing some peptides. Like, we are practicing what we preach.
We are 100%
every day.
Yeah, and I was hearing today on a podcast with Jeff Cunningham, who we both respect as a run coach, and he was talking about how beneficial shockwave is because it's such a newer therapy, and how it really helps like Achilles and plantar fasciitis and even hamstring because it has low blood flow. Yeah. And it helps
stimulates blood flow.
Yes. I mean, and so we are truly blessed.
Yeah.
To have access to that and to have that here in Bullard, Texas.
Yeah. So if you don't know, we're owners, we're partners, owner partners in that, in Grace Regenerative Therapies, which is housed here at Grace Wellness. Yeah. And really it's because our goal is to not take meds, but then our goal is also to stay at the start line.
It is.
Like, we've been at a lot of start lines.
Yes.
And so, cool.
Cool.
Yep. So today's topic is great. So we're doubling back.
We are.
We have one podcast about GLPs where we really just break down what GLPs are.
Yep.
And now that we're a little bit further into it, and with our collaboration that involves nutrition and the medical side, looking at biometrics, we just wanted to tell y'all what we're actually seeing in practice with GLPs and the truth about weight loss, muscle, and metabolism as they relate to GLPs. Yeah. So let me start with this. So remember, the GLPs have been out for 20 years. So I've prescribed GLPs for 20 years. My entire career, I've prescribed GLPs initially for type 2 diabetes. And then really heavily in the last 4 for weight loss. They've had a weight loss indication for about the last 6, but were hard to get because of costs. And they've really changed the weight loss conversation completely. And so we just want to talk about what's really happening, because media can skew things. And sometimes what we see and what you see on media or what's happening in the market is not really true.
Yes. I do agree.
And then
100%.
I want to say this too. It's interesting that early in our friendship, because, you know, Christy is a trainer and like, we didn't even really talk about GLPs because I was like, Christy's stance on GLPs, like, that's a cheat, you know? Yeah. But it's really interesting because this paradigm shift because knowledge is power, right?
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's what we want to talk about, is what's working, what's not working, and how to do it the right way, because there is so much information out there. And I have so many clients that are either on TikTok and Instagram and all the mass media that's talking about GLP-1 and how they are doing it the wrong way.
Right.
And it's fear-mongering. And what is such a great thing now is that we have so many other doctors recommending that clients that you see together, they stay on that path or get on that path.
Yeah, like specialists. Is that what you're talking about?
Specialists, yes.
Yeah.
And it's just confirming, you know, that, and that's why I have to explain to a lot of people is it's not just a weight loss drug.
Right.
That is a byproduct of fixing your foundation, which we have to have in place. And that is a byproduct of doing that.
Right.
Of having
and really,
the GLP-1 on.
Where we've seen so many of the negative side effects is people being dosed too high. And people then not eating at all. Yes. And then losing muscle. And here with our collaboration, we are so committed to do it the right way. And you know, I have patients every day that come and they're not willing to do it the right way, and so they're not a good fit. Yes. Because we are committed to the lowest dose necessary, still prioritizing protein. Yes. And when you do that, side effects are actually most of the time pretty negligible.
Exactly. And they should be.
Yeah.
They should be, because we believe in conservative increases.
Yes, that's right. And GLPs are receptor agonists. GLP is something that is indigenous to the body. It is actually a peptide. Examples are semaglutide, Tirzepatide. The mechanism is they decrease appetite, they delay gastric emptying, so they slow it. They improve insulin sensitivity, which is why they have a type 2 diabetes indication.
Yeah. And another thing that they do is that they affect the reward pathway in the brain. And that is a good thing. Coming from someone that deals with like an addictive personality, very addictive personality, is they just take away that dopamine. It takes away, like so many of my clients that are, they say, I am a sugar addict. And they're like, I just don't have the desire to eat sweets anymore. And they tell me that it's sitting right there. And it's just like they don't find that they don't get the same dopamine hit that they used to get with that. And people that aren't even trying to stop drinking, it just decreases it.
Because GLPs are being studied for other addictions,
Yes.
like alcohol, shopping, gambling, because of what it does in your brain. And really, I tell patients all the time that one of the most powerful mechanisms of action is just that it turns the volume down on the head hunger and the food noise.
Yes, somebody. That's what I've been saying lately. Someone used the term. It just takes the edge off.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Right.
We just want to take the edge off.
So that then you can make the right decision.
Yes. And I had somebody say it the other day. They were like, I don't want it to be to the point where I don't have to use some control.
Right.
Because then you're just completely dependent on it.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if your foundation is broken or what you're eating, right? And so then we're not going for health.
Right.
Then.
Because really, when we are prescribing it, you know, we may have a patient that's not even overweight that just wants to optimize their health.
We have a lot of those.
And you can do that and not even lose that much weight.
Exactly.
But to build muscle and decrease inflammation.
Yes.
So rapid weight loss is not the goal. And really, if done correctly, that's not what we're seeing in practice. A pound or 2 pounds a week is a healthy weight loss. And appetite suppression is okay, but under eating is not.
Yeah.
And the goal is not to lose lean muscle mass, which is what's so valuable about what you're doing. Because when a patient sees Christy, she puts them on the InBody and looks at body composition at every single visit to ensure we want your percent body fat to go down, but we want your muscle mass to go up.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. And a lot of times a GLP-1 is naturally going to put you in a calorie deficit. Okay. Which for most of Americans, it's a good thing.
That's right.
It's okay. Because we are in a calorie surplus right now, and they're eating too many calories. So the medicine is naturally going to put you in a calorie deficit, but that's why I only focus on protein at the very beginning, because as long as you're getting your protein in, we don't have to count all the calories.
Right.
If you are going to sit down to a meal that has carbs and protein, and you're going to eat the protein first, you're probably going to be full before you even get to finish the carbs. So that is how it just frees people's mind of being stuck to calories or macros or anything like that, and just focus on protein at the very beginning.
Right.
And then we can get granular. We can get nitty gritty. Later on down the road. But we first have to teach people how to eat protein.
Which, what's funny is it's so counterintuitive, because you'll have these patients that have been counting every single calorie that they put in their mouth.
Fat,
and everything. I'm like, listen, it does not have to be that hard.
No.
Just prioritize protein. You need 100 to 120 grams on average. And we do not care how many calories you eat, because everything else falls into place. If you're eating the protein first.
If you're prioritizing protein.
So,
if you're gaining weight, I know you're not prioritizing protein.
Right.
You're eating those carbs still.
So it's really just a tool. The GLPs are just a tool.
Just a tool. But I mean, and that's the thing, guys. We want the medication. We want it to work. We want people to be successful with it. But we just want it done in the right way.
And so why are GLPs so effective? So like we said, they help patients eat less without feeling like they have to exercise constant willpower, because they reduce cravings. They improve blood sugar regulation, which we're all dysregulated because of the American diet and insulin resistance. And so for so many patients, this is life-changing.
People are coming in after being on it for like a month or two, and it is just like freeing of not constantly thinking about food and ruminating on food.
Right.
Of always thinking, okay, when can I have this? Or that chocolate chip cookies in the break room. I need to go get that. And they're just free from constantly thinking about it. And that's what I always say, that, it especially for athletes, because I do work with a lot of athletes, that when you are an athlete and you're constantly slapping your hand because you can't have that, and then your mind goes back to it, it's hard.
Yeah.
Discipline is hard. And to give people the chance to just execute their plan without being controlled by cravings, it is a different world.
Another thing I thought of when you were talking about the dopamine pathway is all of these processed foods in America have hidden things in them to activate dopamine.
Yes.
And so we're all byproducts of that too. So we're shutting that door, so to speak.
Yes.
With GLPs.
Yeah. And that's the thing. The GLP-1s are changing so many people's just relationship with food.
Yeah.
And they are able to execute a plan that is going to make them healthy. And they're going to learn how to eat, and so that they feel better, so that we can try to work then to get inflammatory food out of your body.
Right.
Because sugar, dairy, and gluten are three of the biggest inflammatory things.
Right.
And that, without that help of a GLP-1 for some people, it's like, I hate to say they can't, but they can't.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. And one thing that we see, and this is what we're committed to together, is you can get GLPs so many places now.
Oh, yeah.
You can get them online. You can get them at the med spa. You can get them at the lab use only pharmacy online. But what we are committed to doing is not setting patients up for long-term failure. And what that means is patients, when they are doing this without proper surveillance, are losing not just fat, but they're losing muscle, they're losing strength, they're losing metabolic capacity because they're losing muscle. And this truly sets them up for long-term failure. Because I think about the patient that had been on it for a year. And, I told you this morning with coffee, that I see so many patients, and they're coming in for their yearly visit, and they're talking about weight, and they talk about a GLP. And then I see them the next year, and they're talking about weight, and they're talking about a GLP, because nothing changes if you don't change.
No, 100%.
And so what we're doing is trying to change your whole thought process about food, prioritizing protein, preserving muscle mass, so that then you are in a state where your metabolic capacity is great instead of compromised.
And that's it, because our goal is to utilize that as a tool to help build a metabolically efficient body.
Right, because muscle's your engine.
Adaptable to anything. And that is the problem. Is I've met many of your clients that are now coming, your patients that are coming to me now as a client, that have been on it once or twice before. And I always ask them, why did you get off? Did you get to a goal weight and just stop? And so many times they're answering yes. And without that help of, you're killing your metabolism, you're killing your basal metabolic rate by lowering your calorie burning, when you're lowering your muscle mass. It is a perfect storm when they do it the wrong way. And then they get off and they go back to eating like they did a year ago, and they start letting things back in, and they gain so much weight back. And I look at them and I'm like, can we not repeat this cycle again?
Right.
And so it's educating them, just like you said, that a GLP-1 is not just a weight loss drug. It is to build your metabolic health, to increase your muscle mass so that you can execute a plan with high protein. And then let's just maintain. Let's just maybe microdose. Let's not just get off of it, because just like you said, you've been prescribing this drug for 20 years.
Right.
And so if it's fixing a problem, why remove the barrier?
Right.
Why take this away completely when you could still access it to take the edge off?
Right. Right.
So, yep.
Yeah. So muscle is priority.
100%.
And it is metabolic, like we said. It is the metabolic engine for our body, supports glucose regulation, protects against weight regain, and impacts longevity and function. I mean, we say it in every podcast in some
Bone
way,
health.
it feels like.
I mean, bone density. I mean, especially women that are, if you are on a GLP-1 and you're in perimenopause, menopause, and your hormones are dipping and your estrogen is low, and you are at a higher risk of osteoporosis and you're losing muscle mass.
Right. Yeah.
It is so
a perfect storm. It really is.
Because we talked about that before. You said it before. It's really got me thinking. Is you made a comment about like there's so many different like baby boomers or generations, and now this GLP generation
we're
that
going to see
is
this
going
whole
for
under muscled generation that's going to be at risk for hip fractures.
I think we need to invest in nursing homes.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be full. Because people are not going to be able to pull themselves out of a chair. They're not going to be able to move and live by themselves because they have no muscle mass.
Because they're chasing a number.
They're chasing a number.
Like, that makes me so sad. We see that. That is the most common. I would think that's the most common thing that we see is people abort the plan that we tell them. They're on the GLP and they just want to weigh 118.
Yeah. I can tell by what they're eating.
Yes. They just want to see the number on the scale.
Yes.
And that is so sad because their basal metabolic rate is 1,000.
I know.
That they can eat 1,000 calories without gaining weight a day, which is not sustainable.
No.
So
and they're living off of, because we had this conversation today, and they're living off of highly ultra processed protein sources.
Yeah. Protein shakes, protein bars that are filled with, I mean, just like you said, it's a candy bar.
It's a candy bar. Someone mentioned, and my husband eats them, pure protein candy bars, and that I was like, just eat a Snickers. Because you see the word protein and everything is going to market to protein right now because that is the thing. But there is a huge difference in protein from a real food source and protein from an ultra processed food source. And people will tell me what they eat all day because I ask everybody what you're eating all the time. Everyone in the office knows I ask this question to everybody that I see. And it is like a protein shake. It is a protein bar for a snack. It is a healthy choice protein meal. It is Quest protein chips. And I'm like,
yeah. And I was just thinking, just like in the last year, how many meals we've eaten. I know how many meals we've eaten together. And like, have you ever seen me eat anything but real food, real protein? Same with you.
No,
I've never.
I mean, I live off of chicken, and that's what I tell everybody because so many people need variety.
Yeah, chicken and eggs.
Variety is good. It is. Our gut likes a little bit of variety, and I'm convicted every now and then to add something different into my diet, but boring works. And it's almost just like strength training. You are always going to squat, hinge, push, pull, twist. You're going to. Why try and create the wheel on strength training? Why try and recreate the wheel? You're always going to eat chicken. Sorry. It's always going to be in your world.
Because we know how we feel when we eat it. It's fine. So, what happens without a plan? We see this all the time. It's biblical. Without a plan, the people perish. Think about that all the time. So without guidance, we consistently see patients under eating 800 to 1,000 calories a day. That's not sustainable. Minimal protein intake, very minimal protein intake. No strength training, over-reliance on meds, and then that results in the skinny fat, the plateau, the rebound weight gain. Yeah. And we just don't want you to be on that cycle.
No.
I think about this, and we've said it before. Why don't you share it? The 20-pound yo-yo. What happens with the 20-pound yo-yo?
20-pound yo-yo, and most people are gaining and losing 20 pounds all the time. And you lose 20 pounds, and if you're not prioritizing protein, which most people are not, they're going to lose muscle with that. And so let's say you lost 5 pounds of muscle in that 20 pounds, and then you're going to gain that 20 pounds back. You're going to gain it back all as fat. And then we do it again. And then we lose 5 more pounds of muscle. And then we gain back 20 more pounds of fat. And we have now lost 10 pounds of muscle and gained 40 pounds of fat.
All while aging, while it is harder to regain muscle.
It's unreal.
And that's the whole concept of we're going to have a whole under-muscled generation.
Because people are and I have so many people, because I am constantly trying to get everyone to a minimum, the floor of 100 grams of protein. No one needs to eat less than 100 grams of protein. And so many, 50 or 60. Even after consulting with me, they just, I can't get there. I can't get there. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, then reduce the dose.
Yeah.
The dose is too high. I had somebody a couple of days ago. I was talking about side effects of the GLP-1, because nausea is a side effect, because your body has to adapt to the medicine, and some people do get nausea with it. And she made the comment. She's like, "Oh, that's a good thing. It makes me not eat."
The goal is not starvation.
It's like, oh my.
Yes, not starvation.
We're going to be talking a lot, my friend.
That's right. And so with GLPs, what you see is metabolic adaptation. And so when intake drops too low, metabolism slows, energy decreases, hormones adapt, and your body becomes more efficient at storing, not burning. Yeah. And that's what people don't realize.
No, they don't realize that.
Because it's counterintuitive.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, most women, they undereat starting probably when they start to gain weight at around the age of 45. You know, when that perimenopause is really hitting them hard, and they're probably, maybe raising teenage kids, and they're putting all of the excuses of why they can't do something into action, and they just stop eating, and then now it's their new norm of under eating. And when you are doing that, your metabolism is a very smart thing, and it literally will slow down and become sluggish. Because I know you describe a thyroid as sluggish, which is not a good thing either. Right. So same way, if you have a sluggish, I like that, sluggish thyroid, you understand you don't want a sluggish metabolism. Yeah. But if you are under eating like 800 calories, 1,000 calories, I believe is under eating, that your metabolism is going to slow down, so it will not be catabolic and just eat you. Yeah. Because it will. If you stay at the rate you're supposed to be at for a basal metabolic rate, you're going to wither away. Yeah. And so your body is in self-preservation mode, right. Which is lucky it does that. It's just like in the caveman days. Right. When it didn't survive on much, it slowed down. And it's the same way. But when it was in abundance, metabolism was great. Right. And metabolism is going to be revved up, and you want a revved up metabolism.
Right. Yeah. Well, and so I really think that the take home is this, that you need to know GLPs are highly beneficial.
Very.
We believe in them. They help on so many different levels. But what we are seeing in practice is, without appropriate surveillance, it can be a weapon. It can be dangerous.
Very.
And so with our collaboration, we do it differently.
Yeah, because when you get on the InBody, we are tracking your muscle mass, your skeletal muscle mass, of that muscle mass that you are able to change, and you're able to grow, and you're also able to lose that muscle mass. And so we're watching that, and it's important to see. And the sad thing is, you can see the yo-yo dieters, and you can see people that have been on a GLP-1 multiple times in past years they are already under muscled at 40 or 50 years of age. Yeah. And that is scary. And so we are constantly looking at that. Every time they come in, we are tracking it. I am reviewing it. I am again reminding them about 100 grams of protein that will always be in their world. And then we're trying to build habits that will get them active, that will get them to be moving, and will get them to lift weights, so that we are using the muscle so we don't lose the muscle. And because the one thing I do like, another one of the things I do like about a GLP-1 is it does give, so many people that have been stuck for so many years, that are really trying, and they're frustrated, and they think that they're without hope. And it just gives them that motivation, like, finally, it's moving in the right direction. My work is paying off. Yep. And then they're motivated.
Yes. I call it the human psychology of seeing results.
Yes. I love it.
Because we see it. But nutrition is non-negotiable. And that's what we're committed to too, is if you don't change your nutrition, then we're really not your people. Yeah. Because that has to change. Patients have to be coached. Protein has to be prioritized. They have to eat consistently even when they're not hungry on the GLPs.
Yes.
And that's key. And then in hand, it supports muscle.
Yeah.
And you have to stay hydrated.
Yes.
So,
because that's one thing people don't realize is that the GLP-1s also
Kinda
will
suppress thirst,
suppress
yeah.
the thirst.
Yeah.
And they don't realize it.
Yeah. So,
But I mean, again, strength training is essential. And we don't want to lose muscle. We want to be strength training, lifting some weights, at least 2 to 4 sessions per week. And you don't have to be a member of a gym. You can buy some dumbbells and you can have your own home gym and things like that. Do push-ups every day. Do squats. Do something. But lifting weights is so important because it's functional. You're always going to be lifting heavy things.
Right.
I mean, I hope that someone in their 70s and 80s can carry a bag of groceries upstairs.
right.
That is a sign of longevity. Like how many stairs can you climb holding like 20 pounds of groceries?
Yeah.
And when you think about that, can I do that when I'm 70 or 80? Can you do that at 40?
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about water bottles when you're somewhere.
I just slap it on my shoulder and we walk through Boston.
It's a little inside joke because anytime we go anywhere, we get like the 40 pack
We
of
did
water.
it in Las Vegas too.
We did it in Boston. We've done it
In Las
everywhere.
Vegas.
We've done it everywhere.
And she
but
always buys a 40 pack.
we go through a lot, and we can carry it through the city, and you need to be able to too. So GLPs are really a tool, and they can be a valuable tool if used the right way. They're effective. They're helpful. They're appropriate for so many patients, really nearly all patients.
I know,
But
that's true.
they're not a replacement for lifestyle.
They are not a replacement for lifestyle. You have got to have your foundation fixed: nutrition, sleep, recovery, strength training, activity. Anchors of your day have got to be there.
Right. And we do see some side effects. You can have nausea. You can have constipation, fatigue, dehydration. Fewer, less commonly talked about side effects: increased heart rate, muscle loss, poor recovery. But if you have the right team, our goal is to really help avoid those side effects.
Yeah, and that's true. But I mean, there are some problems that we do see. Is a lot of patients that they do have the mindset of, if I eat less, I will lose more, and that you can't have that kind of mindset, because then we're back at the under-eating thing.
Right.
And you will have a lot of worse outcomes doing that.
Yeah. And it's just really important that you look at the process or the outcome versus the process. So everyone wants the weight loss, but very few people want the habits that sustain it.
And don't get it, we want weight loss.
Right. Most people need it.
Most people do need it. And I agree. I do want weight loss for them, but I want them to create the habits that will keep them
That will sustain
do
it.
that.
Yes.
It is sustainable. And so that's why I never do an overhaul. We work on one thing in a 4-week period.
Right.
And that's it. Because if you try to do an overhaul, I'm going to hear the same thing. I was really good for 2 weeks. Well, okay, I need you good always.
Right.
Like every week needs to look the same.
Exactly. So here we focus on monthly nutrition counseling, looking at that foundation, tracking body composition, protein and fueling strategies, strength training guidance, and then clinical oversight to look at the medical part, the biometrics.
Yeah, because you have to have the foundation fixed before you start adding on anything else to optimize your life. And so again, nutrition, movement, and hormones. You have got to get those labs.
Yeah.
Because hormones do matter. Because if hormones are off, weight loss is harder. Energy is lower, recovery is impaired, and hormones must be addressed to work alongside GLPs. And we do it. We have a lot of clients that they come in and they are literally they're adding the testosterone. Women are adding testosterone. They have added a small dose of the GLP-1 and they are like, oh, okay.
I think it's a good time. I think in my first GLP podcast, I may have talked about this, but it's a good time to talk about this patient. I have a patient that I've taken care of for years, type 2 diabetic, and she literally has been on a GLP for probably like nearly the entire time that GLPs have been out, because she had type 2 diabetes. And it wasn't until we balanced her hormones when she became menopausal, she's lost over 100 pounds. And so she reminded me of that. Probably a year or so ago. She's like, I've been on a GLP for a long time, but the weight loss didn't happen. until we balanced hormones.
I agree.
So, and she was a PCOS patient too. So it was just like hormone chaos.
Yeah.
And then everything got in alignment. And so perfect example.
Yes, I do see that. So again, guys, remember that success looks like fat loss with muscle preservation. So we are literally seeing that line on the in-body of fat loss going down and muscle mass staying, so that we are being more metabolically healthy, and we are our body fat percentage is going down. I look at body fat percentage. I really can't even tell you what a good BMI is. I don't look at BMI.
Yeah.
Body fat percentage is going to signify metabolic health.
Right. Because BMI does not take into account body habitus. It's not individualized at all.
Yeah.
So
We want to make sure that you're gaining strength, and that you are creating those habits to that you're going to take into the many decades that you have left, because again, we want to get you to that final decade thriving.
Yeah. And so I hope that this was beneficial for you, that GLPs really do hold value, but there's an investment in the foundation first, that you don't need another shortcut.
Yes.
And they aren't a shortcut if you fix the foundation first, and that's our commitment.
I agree 100%, because they are a tool that are successful. Thanks for spending time with us on the Grit and Grace podcast. If this episode spoke to you, please like, share, and follow us on all platforms as you head back into your life. Choose to pursue it with strength, faith, and intention, a life marked with both grit and grace.